nice lady once took me into her bedroom, which is how you phrase that when you're trying to class up the fact that you wrote a joke about it afterwards. And at some point during this tryst, or tryst if you're me and you're using a word you've only seen in print but never heard anyone say aloud. And you're working this out at open mics, and your asshole best friends are in the corner laughing at you while you say the word wrong. You think you made a funny word choice. No, you're saying it wrong. That's why. And this goes on for weeks, by the way. These are your closest friends in comedy, your brothers in arms. And it goes on for like a month and 3 weeks. And like, it far surpasses like practice. It's a betrayal at that point. It is a betrayal. And you know what? To hell with him. I'm just gonna keep saying tryst. Tryst. We're all saying tryst from now on in here. At some point during this tryst, she requested that I bite her on the back, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I have zero problem with that. It's new. I'll give you that. It is new. But that's part of the intrigue for me. I'm an adventurous person. I like trying new things out. I've never tasted lady back before. What if it's delicious? There's only one way to find out. What if this opens up like a whole new world of sexual exploration for me? We start getting into like some Pac-Man Blue Ghost dress-up role play in the bedroom. This could be really dope. I'm a sushi lover. I love sushi. And whenever I get it with a first timer, I order eel and I try and talk them into it. Now this takes some convincing. Not everyone is down for eel, but pretty much all of my friends that have tried it get it every single time they go afterwards because it's wonderful. What if this girl's lumbar section is the unagi of my sex life? I don't want to miss out on this. Now I don't want you to mistake my willingness to explore for carelessness. I care about her, I don't want to hurt her. So as an inexperienced backbiter, I need to go about this with as much caution as possible. So I take my teeth and I ever so gently set them upon her back. And she then says harder, so I push in just a tiny bit, just a little bit more. And she says again after that, harder. So once more, just like the first one, just a little tiny bit more. And she says harder one more time. And so even smaller than the first two, I just push in just a little bit more. And she then says to me, which was fucking frustrating for a couple of reasons. First of which, I can't yell back at her because I have a very strict do not yell at naked people policy that I live with in my life. That's just good manners and common sense. We're both naked, there's a lot of tender shit out in the open. This is a time for peace. The other reason I was aggravated is I told you how careful I was. I was delicate, tender, considerate. I went as slow as I possibly could. You can't be more careful than I was in that situation. So here's the thing about that. If does nothing for you, and does nothing for you, and fucking hurts, then guess what, Susie? You don't like having your back bitten. Which is something you could maybe take into consideration next time you want to go flying off the handle at me when all I'm trying to do is fulfill a request that you made for shit you don't want. Why ask me to do it in the first place then? Has this gone better for you on prior attempts? How? Did the guy before me have special teeth? Or no teeth? Which I still count as special teeth wherever they are right now? And if that's the case, then who was this silk-mouthed suitor of yours? Was it a 90-year-old man who popped his dentures out of his skull and set them on your bedside table before you and him had a tumble? Was it a well-accomplished meth user who no longer than 24 hours before you and he held late-night congregation had the last rotten brown pebble fall out of the roof of his mouth, bounced 4 times on the concrete, and disappeared down a sewer grate, never to be seen again? Did everyone get all that? I know it's a lot. That one's a lot. This next one's short and easy. Was it a baby? Did you lay in sin with a little baby before I got here? Or, I hope not about the baby stuff, by the way, or have you never tried this before? If that's the case, it's very cool. Thank you for showing me that much trust in spite of the fact that it's our first time, but I also need you to show me some patience. All right? Acknowledge the fact that you are asking me for some off-brand shit right now. Bite me on the back is not a well-established sex move. Neither one of us is Marv Albert. Old people. We're dying. Just take responsibility. Just take responsibility for the things you were asking me for. I would do that if that was you, if the roles were reversed and I'm the one making the request. If I'm like, yo, girl, I want you to butterfly kiss me on the toe knuckles. And if you, maybe out of your own self-possessed sense of adventure, got down there and got to fluttering, and once you got done, you came up and asked me, did that do anything for you? I'd be like, no, it didn't do a single thing for me. That's actually not your fault, because I just made that shit up. See? Took responsibility for what I asked you for. That is not how it went down with me. I got yelled at. Why are you yelling at me? Why? Oh, is it because your shoddy work as a captain is what crashed the ship of your back into the rocks of my teeth? Because you held no regard for the lighthouse that was the caution that I used in the name of your safety? Is that why you're yelling at me? Is it? Or is it the fact that you think this is entirely my fault because the only reason you asked me to bite you on the back in the first place is because when we were trying to have more conventional sex, I was too drunk to keep it up? Is that why you're yelling at me? Huh? Because that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I can see how you'd feel that my inability to perform as a man has led us down this path that ended with me inflicting pain upon you. It's a valid point. My bad. That one's my bad, you guys. Look, sometimes these stories don't have a hero in them, okay? Sometimes in a story, you have an antagonist, and instead of a protagonist, you just have a second antagonist. With whiskey dick, biting the first antagonist on the back. And sometimes that's just the whole story. That's that whole story. Thanks, guys.
One more time for Adam Pasi.